We're back to the Neil Haley Show. Again, go to my website, toldtutor.net for more information. Twitter, ToldTutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, ToldTutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google Plus, Neil Haley. And I say we're back to the Neil Haley Show, meaning we're continuing a new episode. I am recording 8 episodes, 4 hours of television leading into the summer, so we provide such great talk. A lot of interesting authors on the show, so I'm excited to welcome the program. And it's really interesting when I have one sheets from the National Publicity Summit. So I'm excited to welcome the program Bob Huttinga. He is an author of Put Your Health in Your Own Hands, and I have a picture of you, Bob, right here in your one sheet. Thanks for calling, Bob, and thanks for coming on the Neil Hayes Show.
Well, thanks for having me.
Well, definitely. I think that in a lot of ways we're seeing this crazy world of ours with health issues and healthcare costs and things like this, and we get doctors to tell us one thing, and then we try to do something else, and we kind of self-diagnose ourselves via the internet and try to search Google before we go to a doctor. That a lot of times we find out things that doctors might not know, and we need to kind of find ways to rectify a lot of issues in our health in our life. Do you agree with me, Bob? And people like yourself are answers in some ways, for sure.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. People are much more self-educated these days, and they're looking for answers. So you're right.
They're looking for answers, Bob. They're looking for what to do. Let's just talk about like arthritis, back problems, health issues with eating. Just when you get older, things just occur, and there's a lot of pain in your life and a lot of different things, and you want to find an answer, and usually the doctors just take a pill, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, they just want to write a prescription.
And what is the problem with that a lot of times when people get kind of stuck in taking medications and stuff? Do you find out in your daily job that sometimes doesn't always help them in so many ways, and they still are suffering from a lot of pain and anguish in some ways?
Yeah, well, a lot of times the docs are under time pressure. They only spend a few minutes with a patient, and then they don't really take the time to look for the root cause. And many times that is really where the answer lies.
Right, and how do you uncover those root causes, especially in your book, to see where?
Well, primarily we spend a lot of time, like our initial interviews with new patients are an hour, and then we spend a half hour for follow-up visits, and you just ask a lot of questions, and lots of times you can figure out, why this person has joint pain, rather than just here's a prescription.
Right, finding out why they have joint pain. A lot of times it could be exercise to get rid of the problem, or losing weight, or doing certain exercises. Isn't that correct, Bob?
Yeah, exercise, you can certainly over-exercise.
Right.
And we find that most people that have joint pain have old injuries and they have bone spurs. And we have ways that can dissolve those bone spurs. So it works.
So tell me some of those ways that could dissolve bone spurs, because again, I have ankle surgery left in my other ankle, and basically tore ligaments in another ankle, and just different things. The daily grind with bad ankles. How did you eliminate some of that? What do you do?
There's an herb called hydrangea, and you just take 1 capsule 3 times a day, and we have them do it first 25 days of each month, and then take 5 days off. And then with that, a homeopathic medicine called Calcarea carbonicum, and the potency on that is a 6C, and that's 1 pellet once a day. And that combination will dissolve bone spurs.
Oh, great. And what have you seen when people have tried the idea that you have? Have you seen some great success of the dissolved bone spurs, some great success stories?
Yep, lots of, like in the hands, a lot of people will get those little painful nodules on their fingers or at the base of the thumbs that are very sore with little very tender points. Lots of those will disappear. Knee pain where there's calcification in the ligaments.
So what helped you go down this journey? I kind of gave you points of why I go down the journey of Googling things before I head to a doctor and not worry about specific things because, co-pays and extra test costs and stuff. But what helped you go down this journey to find these helpful cures and different remedies to difficulties that people go through on a daily basis where they're in pain because of certain things?
Well, my own journey in this avenue of medicine started because I was sick myself and I couldn't find answers in the traditional system and had to start looking in alternative medicine, mostly in the foods I was eating. And I was allergic to a lot of those foods, which was then causing a lot of problems.
And so you had like digestive issues, Bob, or different things?
Well, not anymore, but I used to have irritable bowel syndrome, and I also had chronic sinus and allergies.
And using natural things, especially being a physician's assistant, what do your colleagues think of that and different things that you're finding natural remedies to a lot of these things that doctors are just going to prescribe something and not always it's going to work, and then there'll be lots more side effects?
Well, initially there was a lot of skepticism, but now some of my colleagues are sending patients to me that they call problem patients. They can't find answers for, and so over the last 10 years I've been getting referrals from those folks, so that's been nice.
It's definitely nice, and why is it there's such a fight between, it's great hearing your colleagues, between natural remedies versus the pharmaceutical companies and pharmaceutical? Why do you think that is?
Well, I don't know that there's a big fight. I think a lot of it is just that most docs don't have education in nutrition and herbs and homeopathy. I spent many years educating myself in this area in addition to my traditional training. So I think a lot of time it's just they don't have time to learn it.
Don't have time to learn it, don't want to deal with the headaches and hassle and also all those different things. Now let's talk about specific things. Let's talk about people that are suffering from some sort of depression, anxiety. Are there natural remedies to that as well to help?
Well, there are certainly natural remedies. What I found is most of the time there's old emotional traumas that people hold in their memory, and these things are under the surface. And it's sort of like having a program running in the background all the time. It zaps your energy and uses up the neurotransmitters, and eventually those get depleted, and you've suffered from depression.
And so once that helps a lot of patients of you that come with these problems, right? Come to you and say.
Yeah, we have a couple of techniques for them to reprogram these old emotional traumas, get them out of their system so they're not there in the background. And then a lot of times that depression just improves naturally without medicine.
Even without natural?
Yeah.
Help? Really? More therapeutic conversation.
Yeah, the technique is actually really simple, and I can explain it if you like.
Sure, absolutely.
We have people write a letter. Let's say you have a conflict with their mother when they were a child, and they would write a letter to their mother, not send it to her, of course, but at the end of the letter, you say, I will no longer carry this debt for you, and I love you, I bless you, I release you, and I forgive you for everything I think you've done to me. And then you read this letter and the ending 3 times, and then you burn it.
Okay.
And when you burn it, it releases that old memory from your system, and that program is removed. If it's something big, people have to do it a few times. I went through a bad divorce 20 years ago and had to write 6 letters to her, but it's so gone. There's no emotion connected to that anymore.
That's good. And that's what you have to do is forgive, forget, and move on in your life in so many ways, for sure. Yeah.
And forgiving is forgetting, so that you don't even think about it anymore.
Right, and keep going and keep yourself busy in so many ways. One other thing, if you're suffering from back issues, which I had last summer, and luckily I lost some weight and it helped with my back issues, what types of natural remedies do you see to help people who are suffering back problems?
Well, one of the things is if there's old injuries, then we use the bone spur remedy. We also have something called Baxyl, Baxyl, which rebuilds the lubrication in the joints. And then we use chondroitin, glucosamine, and MSM to repair the cartilage. See, most people don't get enough of those cartilage ingredients in their diet. You only get it from gristle and from gelatin, and most people throw that stuff away, so they don't get enough of that in the diet.
Okay. Very, very interesting for sure. What has been the response to your book, especially with people that have picked up the book and read it?
Oh, excellent. Yeah, a lot of people use it for reference because it's set up with an index, so they have a malady of some sort. They can just go through the index, look it up, and find what the remedy is for that.
And that's important. Some of the other things you can help out, as it says, some of the other things. You practice traditional method with medicine with alternative medicine, and I think that's a great thing because you're seeing what works and tries to help other people through that process, and hopefully medical will look, both sides will get educated to find that what's the best answer for the physician's patient and physician assistant's patient compared to just misconceptions. So education's key, isn't it, Bob?
Absolutely. One of my old mentors always said, use all of your tools.
Right.
He said, if you got a back problem, don't have surgery, go to the chiropractor. But if you have a bad appendix, go see the surgeon. So you have to use everything you have.
Okay, so where's the best place we can go find information on you and learn more about you? Where can we go, Bob?
Well, my website is the Healing Center of Lakeview.com. The books are available on Amazon. I have some CDs on Amazon as well.
All right. Well, fantastic, Bob. Best of luck to you, and we'll talk soon, okay?
Okay, Neil. Thank you.
All right. You're watching
Bye-bye.
The Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hi, I'm John Walsh, owner of Bethel Bakery, and we are celebrating our 60th birthday this year. We have plenty of events scheduled for this summer and certainly hope that you can join us for our sweet 60th. Each day, now through August 31st, one lucky customer will win a $60 Bethel Bakery gift card just by registering in the store when a purchase is made. Also daily, our Facebook fans can like and share the photo we post on our wall for a chance to win a $6 Bethel Bakery gift card. We also have a community cookie fundraiser with the proceeds supporting 3 organizations in the community: the Joey Fabus Foundation, the Bethel Park Community Foundation, and the Bethel Park Public Library. Each week we are featuring a throwback and new baked good. And if you were born in 1955, make sure to stop in for a free cupcake. Updates are posted on our website, bethelbakery.com. Bethel Bakery, baking life sweeter since 1955, takes great pleasure in serving all our customers. Stop and visit us as we celebrate 60 years of sweet memories.
We're back to the Neil Haley Show. Again, go to my website, toldtutor.net for more information. Twitter, Told Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook, LinkedIn, Neil Haley, Instagram, Told Tutor, Pinterest, Neil Haley, and Google+. Hashtag the Neil Haley Shows. We're live tweeting today, and I'm excited to welcome the program. Again, I've had some interesting guests on the program, and I meet them from different situations. So I'm excited to welcome the program. Dr. Jason Ampel from Learning Liaisons. Dr. Jason, thanks for calling, and how are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Neil. I appreciate it.
Oh, I'm excited. And when we kind of connected via my great producer, Dee Dee Rittman, and started chatting, I was very interested in seeing specifically enough how this works. Again, we're seeing now people are learning more and more online. We see it with all online courses for college and different things, online tutoring, FaceTime sessions and things like that. You saw the way to connect a workshop atmosphere with interaction by creating learning liaisons. Am I correct? Showing those two different components, the workshop and the classroom combined in so many ways, right? Sounds like your mission.
Yes. Yeah, it's kind of, it's kind of interesting because whenever I talk to people about it, when I did all of my schooling, my undergrad, my master's, and my doctoral, I never, ever took an online class at all. I was always the one that was against it. I would do professional development for the university. I would do it at the school district. And then when I decided to create this company, I made a promise to myself that no matter what happens, it's going to be an engaging, interactive, and most important, relevant environment for training for teachers, or parents, or all stakeholders. So long story short is these workshops, a lot of people feel that it's more beneficial than a face-to-face in some points because of the interactivity of it, the engagement, and most importantly, the relevance of the information. So I would spend years sitting in workshops and professional development sessions where I would get up after an hour and a half, and you didn't really get anything new. You didn't learn anything. There was no accountability. There was no speaking with your peers and other educators to brainstorm, and the Learning Liaisons provides that online environment, and plus it makes it easily accessible. So we bring the experts to your laptop, so that you could, wherever you are in the world, you can engage and be a part of these sessions.
Well, you're right about when you talk about learning workshops and stuff. A lot of times you just sit there, watch a presentation, watch a talk, maybe get 5 minutes to ask questions, and you miss out because a lot of the knowledge that expert has cannot be put into an hour talk, hour and a half talk, or a 3-hour workshop. So by bringing it all online, it gives that interactivity, right? That's the thing you saw missing when you attended all those workshops. Yep.
There was no follow-up. There was no questions and answers. There was nothing. You're just sitting there and listening. And we know from research, obviously, everybody knows in education that about 5% of our learners are audio learners. So you sit there and you're listening to someone. So if you got a room of 100 people, and you're talking for an hour, about only 5 to 10% of those people are actually going to remember or learn anything. So it's all about engagement, and these interactive online classrooms that we use through Adobe Connect provide that environment for our learners.
Do you think the reason why people are more willing to interact is because they're in the privacy of their own home or office and they're more willing to ask questions than when you're forced at a time to go where you really don't want to go, you'd rather be at work, but when you log into this and this interactive type of setting, you have the opportunity to ask questions, you feel comfortable, and that's key. And I think that's what makes you different from other people when you attend workshops, for sure.
Yeah, it's the same philosophy and psychology of regular traditional classroom. I'm teaching in public schools. It's the same thing. You have that. Everyone has the ability and the potential to be a part of the learning process. So you have a large percentage of students, regardless of age, it could be adults as well, that are very apprehensive about raising their hand for several reasons. Maybe they're embarrassed, not sure if they're going to get it right. They don't feel comfortable. It's the same thing whether I'm face-to-face teaching a classroom at the university or in a school district, or you're online in a virtual classroom environment. That virtual classroom lays way for more of those people who are apprehensive face-to-face to feel like they have a little more freedom to respond and have conversations online. So it kind of opens the door and helps people reach their potential and reach their goals a lot quicker.
Freedom to reach their goals, because a lot of people, and I think what your development in this is, a lot of times people want to see that talk, they want to see that opportunity, but if they're not able to ask questions to that expert, they feel like, why am I going to travel 30 minutes away, or why am I going to go ahead and get my staff to sit through 3 hours if we have a real big issue that we need this expert to take care of and help us through. But yet that expert sometimes doesn't give that nitty gritty. when you have that opportunity to interact throughout the workshop, it's fantastic. And I think that's key.
Yeah. And that's, and it's the accessibility too. And, now we're working with school districts and universities to provide some of our services to their teachers or their college students, because it gives them the opportunity to work with an expert in that specific field to help them, whether it's pass a certification exam or get anti-bullying training, or just contemporary teaching strategies, workshops. It just provides that avenue, the alternative avenue for students or teachers to get that done.
And when you talk about the test prep, especially for our Florida audience, the Florida teaching credentials exams are tough, right? They're not easy. Sometimes a lot of them have to take them more than once, correct?
Yeah, that's one of our biggest services now is our Florida Teacher Certification Exam Prep, or FTC Prep. And it's a series of 3 major exams, just like many states around the country have different types of exams. And some of it's very difficult, and a lot of it has to do with material that the teachers didn't learn since they were in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade themselves. So when you're a college student in your early 20s, or even an adult changing fields coming into education, a lot of those topics, especially math, I mean, they haven't seen those topics in slope and integers and geometry. They haven't learned that for years and years and years. So it gives a lot of people a lot of headaches, because unfortunately they fail these exams because of that, and they have to prepare. And what we do is help them, put them in the right direction, and give them the tools they need and the strategies to pass the exam, because it's very costly. Like for you here in Florida, there's 3 exams, and they range anywhere from $170 to over $200 a piece.
Oh wow!
So a teacher is basically paying a little over $500 for all 3 of these exams
per test.
We've got people. Yeah, we've got people that call us every day and say, I failed this 4 times already. You're paying $170 times 4 times 5. That's a lot of money. So people also are losing jobs because they have to pass the exam to keep their teaching jobs. So it's very stressful, and we're very happy that we're able to provide this service, and we've had some great successes since we've been doing this. So the goal is to extend this to other states now as well.
Absolutely. And Jason, when you think about that online learning process of saying, now you're bringing the classroom, the presentation, and the preparation, test prep, and different strategies of solving problems. You mentioned mathematics as well as something that, when was the last time they've done this? A lot of teachers, second career, right, Jason? This is their second career. So they've probably not been in the high school math class in 10, 12 years sometimes. And then they have to look back and think about skill sets that they learned in 6th or 5th grade. It's been 15, 20 years sometimes. So they definitely need to have that ability to understand the strategies, but also how to conquer the problem. For sure. Yeah. Now, Jason, looking at some of the other online workshops that you offer and different things and stuff like that, you talked about teacher preparation in a lot of ways, and looking at specifically enough how teachers become better in the classroom. That's a great component, because a lot of teachers aren't able to go and observe other teachers every day and want to learn more about that profession and how they can become better, especially if they're burned out.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the honor and the pleasure of doing the majority of my studies, my graduate and doctoral program at the University of Central Florida, and I have the amazing pleasure to teach there since 2009 when I graduated. The students there and the program there is amazing, but that doesn't exist everywhere around the country. Right. So kind of one of the streams and strands that I want to do is where my passion is teaching and learning and curriculum, is to provide those streams of workshops for professional development for teachers in the classroom. So it's definitely an area that's in high need, and we get a lot of great results from those educators that attend our workshops, because some of these topics are things that they don't traditionally get, whether in their school district or at their university, depending on their program.
Yeah, because again, book work and then finally getting that classroom experience and then having those questions. It's not just the workshop, it's the interactivity, to be able to ask questions to an expert that has done it for so many years regarding anti-bullying trainings, or teaching for so many years in the classroom, or learning how to solve a simple fraction problem. All those things are available at Learning Liaisons, and that's fantastic for sure.
Yeah.
Where's the best place, Jason, we can find information on you and learn more about you? Where can we go?
You can go on LinkedIn, and you can find me on LinkedIn at Jason Ampel, comma, the EDD at the end. And also, we have a few Learning Liaisons Facebook pages. You just search the Learning Liaisons, and we also have Cast My FTCE page if for any Florida listeners out there. And we do have a Twitter at Learning Liaison, no S at the end. And our main website is www.thelearningliaisons.com, liaisons, liaisons.com.
And what, Jason, you're doing is you're changing the way we think of in-services. I could see in a lot of ways more and more people wanting to jump on this, especially if you have situations where you've created a class and all those teachers do is have to log in at 1 o'clock in the morning or all over the world at a certain time. It's going to be the wave of the future in so many ways. So thanks, Jason, for calling the program, and best of luck to you.
No problem. I appreciate it, Neil. Thanks for having me.
All right, take care, Jason. See ya. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, that was Jason, and I just really enjoyed today's Neil Haley show, learning medical tips and then also learning education tips and looking at the whole interactivity of online learning. And I hope to be doing some stuff with Jason, and my producer, Dee Dee Rittman, will be as well. And it's just fantastic who you find on Twitter. So remember, go at Total Tutor and hashtag Neil Haley Show. And whenever you watch the show or listen to the show, especially this show, please ask questions. Please find out more information on certain guests. So I hope everyone has a fantastic week, and we'll talk next week for some more great education talk. Good day, everyone. Thanks.